be asking lots of questions. There's going to be lots of conversation as we go through this session. So please don't be shy. I know most of you aren't. You're all really comfortable now with commenting in the chat box. But do comment away, ask questions, give your opinion. I'm going to be asking your opinion on lots of things as well. Chris has been waiting for this one. Yeah, I think a few people have. So that's good. I'm excited to share with you. All right, let me just make sure everybody can get in the waiting room. Jackie, looking forward to moving forward again. Yeah, absolutely. We've got to just keep that momentum, I think, at the moment. I don't know about you, but when there's that kind of negativity and, you know, bad news coming at you, you want that momentum to just keep moving forward, keep seeing positive changes. So it really helps you mentally to just keep up that level of action. Okay, I think everyone's in. Perfect. I'll keep an eye on that just in case. So let's over there. Let me share. All right, let me make sure I've got everyone in. Lovely. Okay, I've got the chat box open, so feel free to comment as we go through. And I'm going to give you a lot of information here, and I'm going to deliver it obviously in the most clear step-by-step way I can. But if anything isn't making sense, then please always say, so that we can talk it through and we can make sure that everybody's kind of getting their own handle on it. Obviously, everybody's businesses are different, the way we provide our services, the products we offer. And so some of the steps will make more sense for some businesses than others, and that's totally fine. And so if there are parts of what I'm talking about that you think, I'm not sure I want that on my website, that's totally fine. What I'm going to share with you is the inspiration, the knowledge, the steps, and then you can create the way your sales journey works that is best for your business. So just give me a Y for yes if that all makes sense in the chat box, and we will get going. Jules, not got my video on as it's only showing an empty office. I'm at home. No worries, Jules, don't worry. It's always lovely. Thanks if you do have your video on. It is always nice to speak to faces rather than just my laptop. Brilliant. Okay, let's get cracking. Website sales journey. So the website sales journey, what we are going to look at is the overall strategy of the website, because things have changed quite dramatically from where they were just a few years ago. And so we need that kind of clearer overall strategy. We're going to spend a big majority of our time actually on your homepage, talking about the homepage. That is the most important. I'm going to explain why in just a second. And then I'm going to give you everything else as well. So overall strategy, a lot of time on the homepage and everything else that we want as well. I want to start, you probably heard me talk about this before. I just want to start by reminding you about our caveman brain. In the back of our brains, thinking equals calories. And ultimately, your brain is trying to save calories. It's deep in our kind of psychological caveman years that our brain wants to save calories. And if you make people think too much, if you make your buyers, your consumers think too much, their brain literally is objecting to it. And so I mean, some of you will have seen whenever I talk about this kind of thing about making it really easy for our customers, I often get negative comments on social media or criticism when I talk about this. And people will say, well, I don't want to work with people if they're that stupid they can't work out how to contact me. And they'll say these kind of comments to me, and I totally get where they're coming from. But the reality is, when you are looking at a sales journey, you cannot underestimate the deep psychology in our brains that the more effort you make consumers take or do, the less they will do. And so everything we're going to go through today is all about helping them to think less, so they're conserving calories and their brains will feel more comfortable with what they're actually looking at. Just let me know if that makes sense. So the thinking equals calories. So we don't want our customers to have to think too much. I'm not being patronizing to our couples. I just know that in that deep psychology, the less they have to think about it, the easier it is for them to take steps. We know, don't we, that the more confused a mind, the less action people take. So whenever there is confusion about what happens next, then no action happens. So again, we're just going to streamline everything so that it's not confusing. We don't want to overwhelm people with choice. For those of you that have done the easy to buy, you will know that actually the more choice you give people, the harder it is for them to make a decision and take action. So we do not want to overwhelm them with choice on your website, because that equals no action. Remember that your couples are not experts. Your couples are not experts. And so actually, they need us to hold their hand and walk them through this journey. And tell me in the comments, give me a TP if you are time poor, because most of us are time poor. I don't know, the last person I spoke to said, oh, do you know what? I'm really bored, got nothing to do. You know, most of us are super time poor. If that's you, just give me a TP in the comments. Yeah, Jackie, absolutely. And even I was speaking to one of our members the other day, and she was saying that even though revenue isn't coming into her venue, she's absolutely crazy busy with a million other things to do. And so just because things are, you know, we're not delivering a wedding right now, doesn't mean we're not crazy busy. And your couples are time poor. And so when we put all these things together, Jane's got exclamation marks. Yeah, exactly. It's weird, isn't it? We just all are time poor. You always hear people, you know, how you doing? People go, oh, busy, busy. It's just that kind of standard response. And so when we put all these things together and we start thinking in this way about the journey on our website, this is going to massively influence what we do, why we do it, and why it helps your couples to take action. I'm going to give you an example, because again, just going back to comments I sometimes get on social media about, you know, well, if couples aren't smart enough to know how to email me or whatever, then I don't want to work with them. I'll give you a really good example, and I'm slightly embarrassed to share this one with you about myself. It's not always that people don't know. It's just that we've got so many other things going on in our world. So many adverts coming at us, so much going on social media, so many notifications, WhatsApp groups binging away, ideas going on in our head, trying to manage business, family, whatever it is. And here's a really good example of people not being stupid because they don't have a brain, but just being overwhelmed with information at one time. I was sat, this was a couple of weeks back, in the queue, I'm embarrassed to tell you, for the drive-through McDonald's with my son. And so my son, 3 years old, sat in the back, and I am in the queue. There's loads and loads of people queuing to get a drive-through McDonald's. And I am on my phone in the queue, right, answering emails, answering things on social media. My son is chatting away to me in the back. He's 3 years old. I'm concerned. There's so many cars. Is someone going to kind of scratch my car or bang into me because everybody's packed in? And basically, I drove straight past the machine where you order, right? I just drove past it. I just chugga-chuggaed behind everyone else, drove past it, got to the window where you pay, and I suddenly realised I hadn't ordered. And that guy must have thought, gosh, we've got a stupid one here, right? How did she sit in the queue for McDonald's and not manage to actually order any food? And of course, then I was at the pay window, and then I totally messed up their thing where he had to order it for me and then pay. And, you know, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. This is horrendous. But is that because I'm stupid and I don't know how to order through a machine? Or is it because I'm just having so many things in my brain that ordering that at that moment was not actually kind of right at the forefront? I was thinking about a million other things. And so when our couples are looking at your website, they could be on a train, they could be in the car at a McDonald's drive-through, you know, they're unlikely to be giving you their absolutely undivided attention, because none of us do, right? We all multi-screen in the evening. We've got Netflix on and we're still scrolling on Facebook same time. And so I really encourage you, when we go through this is a key point of the way we put our work together today, that actually allows our couples to take the next step. They don't have to overthink it. They know what they need to do, and it makes it really clear. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute. Does that make sense from a foundational level of what we're going to go through? And it's not that I'm being patronizing to our couples or that I think they're stupid, or it's because there's so much else coming at them. And honestly, if I can, oh, the link didn't work. Sorry, Mary. Well done for finding us. Okay, perfect. People understanding. Brilliant. Oh, said from 6:30. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on there, Mary. Okay, so our couples, oh no, the calendar links are wrong. Oh no, okay, let me just quickly check that nobody is asking for the link in the group. Let me just check. Okay, fine. I think we're all good. And we are recording, so we can definitely watch on replay. Okay, so this is where we're going with the foundations, because sometimes it can feel like we're really over babying our couples when we take this viewpoint, but this is why we've got to make it really easy. And lots of our couples will often think, oh, well, I'll come back to this later. I'll come back and take action later because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next. And they just never do. They just never come back to us. So this is really clear. Okay. Tell me in the comments in the chat, what is it that we want the website to achieve? What are we actually trying to do here for our couples? Because this has really changed in the last, let's say, 5 years. This is a big shift in how things used to be on a website to how they are now. So just tell me, I'm just going to give you a few seconds. Just tell me, what do you want people to achieve when they land on your website? What are we trying to get them to do? Okay, Jackie, book a consultation. Sean, make contact. Daria, contact me. Dre, book a viewing. Shuggy, just book me. Emma, I want clients to fall in love with my work and want to work with me. Mary, ultimately book. Now, know what I do and book. Yeah. Jane, get them to feel comfortable to choose me as the celebrant. Julia, inquiries and booking. Michelle, book a call. Amanda, contact me. Okay. So what used to be the situation with a website was it was more like an information of how to contact you page. And just let me know if you kind of know what I'm saying. A few years ago, websites were very much, here's a little snapshot of what we do. And if you'd like to know more, email us or call us and we'll talk further, we'll go further. And websites were much more of only a shop front rather than being a shop in themselves. And I'm not talking about buying physical products. I'm just kind of talking metaphorically. And they were much more of a place to find a telephone number, find an email address, and have a quick look at what somebody might be able to do for you. But actually today, your website is so much more than that. Your website is really converting couples into the next step of the sales journey. If we expect couples to land on the website and always contact us, that's obviously a big mistake, because they are landing on the website to judge you, to decide if this is a business that I'd really like to work with, if this is a planner, a venue, a stationer that I want to work with moving forward. And so what we want to achieve is, in fact, to give a real level of excitement about our product or service, because if they're not excited by it, they'll think, oh, well, that's okay, I'll maybe put it on the list and come back to it later. We need to give them enough information for clarity without overwhelm. So we want to give quite a lot of information so they feel they can move forward, but we want to avoid overwhelm. We definitely want to move them to the next one clear step, your call to action. And ultimately, we want to control the journey. And what you're going to start to see is that your current format for your website isn't controlling the journey. Your couple have much more control over what they see when, which means the sales journey isn't optimized. Because if they can see information in the order they want it, then ultimately they're going to go to a particular location on your website. Where do you think they're going to go if you don't control the sales journey? Where do you think most couples go when they land on your website, when they're looking for a venue or a vendor or a supplier? Yeah, exactly. They're going to go to prices or Julia hire charges. They're going to go straight to price. Why are they going straight to price? Why are they going straight to price? We all do it, right? I will do the same thing. If I land on a business, I'm going to go straight to the price. Why is that? Why, as a consumer, do we go straight? Yeah, Sean, we're definitely checking for affordability. Julia, to see if they can afford it and don't know what else to do. Yes, exactly. They don't want to see how amazing you are or the work you do or the service you provide or the product until they feel that you're in the right price bracket. Now, Jackie, because they don't know what they don't know to see that. Yeah, exactly. However, price is context. Price is what's included for the price is the key part of the pricing strategy. And for those of you that have done the easy to buy module, you'll know we've got the low price point, the mid price point, and the high price point. So we should be covering the majority of the market that you want to work with, nothing lower. And so actually what we need to do is get your couple to fall in love with what you do first before they get to the price. We are going to show them the price. We want to be really transparent. It's very, very important. But we do want to do it in a particular way so that you control the journey and they start to see what they're going to get first. When we're thinking about the layout of your website, the layout strategy, there's a couple of things to consider. In today's world, we want less clicks and more scroll. Less clicks and more scroll. Why do we want less clicks and more scroll? So for example, you know, when we have a click here or we have clicks on the menu bar, why are we suddenly more comfortable with scrolling than we are clicking? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Harriet, people view on their phone. Yes, definitely easier to scroll on a phone. Dre, we can control the journey. Yes, if you scroll, you're in control. Michelle, time on your website. Yep. Julia, we control the journey. Easier, says Jackie. Amazon. Thank you, Dougie. Yes. Jane, that's the way social media generally works. Exactly. You got it. Okay. So what happens is we tend to see, let me just have a little look. Sean, I was always told no more than 3 scrolls or people switch off. Swiping is different. Things are changing all the time. So let me give you an example. Remember that Amazon, they did their test, and we talked about this before. The more clicks they had in the sales journey, the less people bought. People don't like to click. Now, have you noticed that, well, nearly a year ago now, they changed on their app to swipe to buy? Did anybody notice that? Instead of a click to buy, you can now just swipe to buy. And again, they did that because psychologically they know that people will swipe easier than they will click. So these are percentages of change in our brains that we are getting used to, and it's habitual. And absolutely, Jane, because of social media, we are very, very comfortable doing this, aren't we? We scroll through Instagram, we scroll through Facebook, and so we're comfortable with that format. And then the scrolling across, think about things like Instagram stories, where now we're very comfortable to kind of swipe through as well. So we know that people prefer to scroll rather than click. And so we need to be really aware of this, so we're not asking people to click in lots of different locations. In your layout, I want you to have sections on each page. So if we make more of a scroll scenario, then we need to divide up pieces of information by using sections. And the easiest way to do that is simply to change the background color to each section. So you might have 2 colors, white and gray, or whatever your brand colors are. And then we feel like we're scrolling through sections rather than just a huge amount of text or information that our brains can't process. And so when we're thinking about that scroll, using sections is really the easiest way. And I'm going to give you some of the sections we're going to use. And ultimately, you can put the sections in whatever order makes sense in your business. I'm going to give you some key things. For me, that the top part is the most important, and then the other sections can go in a way that fits your business best. But having those sections means as we scroll, the story is unraveling. And you've seen me use this word quite a lot at the moment on our website. We've got to make it a journey. This isn't just where they click here for prices, click here for packages, click here to find out about me. We need much more of an unraveling of a story and a journey, so that your couple is actually absorbing information, understanding what you do, how you do it, how you help them, yes, your prices and your offers, and then what they do next. It has to be in that format of a journey. Tell me what happens when we give our couples too much choice. And it isn't just our wedding couples, is it? It's all of us as human beings. What happens when we have too much choice? Let me know in the comments. Bamboozled, I love that word, Jane. You lose them, says Mary. Yeah, Sean, confusion. Harriet, overload. Jules, you switch off. And we all do it. Run away, says Michelle. It's so true, isn't it? We all do it. If you've got too much choice, then we just don't take action, or we think we'll come back to it, because your brain is being asked to use too many calories to make a decision, and so it doesn't want to do that. So I really want us to have really nice, clear options on our website, such as one clear next step. So all the time that we're going through each section, we need to have one clear next step, not giving too much choice, not giving too many click options, really streamlining what they see in what order, so that it's a really enjoyable process for your couple. Okay, let's start. Oh, let me just let someone in. There we go. Let's start with the homepage. Let's start with the homepage and the sections. Oops, 4 key steps above the fold and the sections you need. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time here, and I'm going to explain why. Have you heard the phrase above the fold before? And if you have, what does it mean? Or have you thought about this before when looking at your own website? Let me know. Yes, Harriet, well done. Absolutely. The top of a newspaper. It absolutely comes from the old large newspapers, whereby when you folded one of those big newspapers in half, it was only above the fold that sold the paper. Okay, so you know, like the big broadsheets, aren't they called? When you fold them, you've only got that top section with your headline and your main image that would mean the person would buy the newspaper and then keep reading. Exactly, Mary, what they see before they start scrolling. Yeah, perfect. And so it's exactly the same on a website. It's exactly the same psychology. Above the fold is critical because this is the part that they're going to see first and is going to decide whether they're going to keep looking, keep scrolling, have any interest. You know, we see so many people will just land, think, no, it's not for me, and they'll just move off. They won't give you more than a few seconds to convince them. They don't have time to click through everything and allow you to sell to them and convince them before they take action. So above the fold is absolutely critical. Well, I just told you that. So why is this the most important section on your website? Because they're going to take action after they see this part. Here's a really interesting piece of knowledge. Our eye line on a website goes in the shape of a Z. So we go from left to right, diagonally across, and then from left to right. So when we land on a website, that's the way we're reading that page. Now that knowledge is really critical to the way you lay out the above the fold, because that's the first few seconds, the first impression. Are they going to stay? Is this what they want? Are they in the right place? And so the Z eye line of where people are looking is absolutely important for your above the fold on your website. So if we look at this example, you can see here, this is where the eye line is going to go. And I wonder if you've got any thoughts on how that might feel to a viewer with this information now about the Z eye line. Just have a little think about it for a minute. So if a bride or a groom landed on this web page and we know that this is where their eyes go, what do you think their first impression might be? What might be their thought process right here? Any thoughts? I'm just going to give you a second to have a little think about it. What do you think their first impression might be, or their thoughts, or how they might feel about this journey? Jackie, focus on COVID. Yeah, absolutely. Right in the middle of that Z, we've got a big negative statement, haven't we? Chris, confused with choice. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the menu bar. Michelle, they're just going to scroll down for prices. Yeah. Anything else that you feel about this above the fold? And we're going to have a look at a couple so we can get some ideas, because what I want you to come away with at the end of this session is some good inspiration ideas of how you can make all of this knowledge work on your website critically. Any other thoughts about how you might feel as a person landing? Photos are a little dark. Yeah, agree. What about the there's no pull down at the top, just a menu? There's no pull down at the top, just a menu. What do you mean, Emma? I'm not 100% what you mean. Not very welcoming, starting with the business end. Yep. What about the piece of text under the imagery? So we've got across the menu bar, across the imagery, and then the big piece of text. Yeah, agree, Chris. For me, the text is too much. People aren't going to read it. They're just scanning. They're always scanning. And so this is quite a lot of text to have above the fold to expect people to read. No summary of what they do. Yes, thank you, Jane. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's have a little look at some other thoughts. And by the way, I've just taken some random, some who I know, some that I do not know, and I'm not showing them to you so that we can be mean about anybody's business. So if you do know any of these businesses, I promise I'm not trying to be mean about them. I just want us to look through some different styles and start to see what works and what doesn't work. So what's your first impression of this? And remember now, we've got that Z. We know this is where our clients are looking. What's your thought? What's your feel? Okay, too busy, too childish, so busy, and what do they do? Contrast issues with the text, too busy, text unclear, can't see images. Yeah. too much, cheap looking. Okay. So it's really interesting. I do like how easy to book a consultation. Agree, Lisa. Yes, I would agree. That is one thing I do like about what they've done here. There is that clear button, book that consultation. That is a definite win. Apart from that, it's too busy for our brains to work out, isn't it? Where am I supposed to look? Am I supposed to look here? Am I supposed to look here? Do I read that bit? Is that what you meant to say, Jackie? So yeah, exactly. Okay, we're all on the same page. No focus, 100%. Brilliant. Okay, what's your first impression here? What's your first impression here? So we're just looking at above the fold for a moment, because this is so critical to your bounce rates, to people actually staying. Okay, Sean, unreadable text. Oh, let me just pull back up there. Pretty picture, yeah, absolutely. Harriet, beautiful, but no info, can't see the text. Julian, nice pic, but what do they do? Can't read anything. Romantic, but can't read, no information, can't read. Yeah, perfect. Okay, 100% agree with you. This is a fabulous image. It's absolutely the image I would choose to have above the fold. It would make all of us say, oof, that's lovely. But exactly, I don't know what they do. And I can see there's text, but I can't really read it. And again, remember, people are time poor. They've got distractions. The TV's on, their phone's buzzing, their kids might be saying something, their boss might be calling. People will not give you their undivided attention. And so if we make them work for it by actually trying to read the text, it's not going to work. You're not going to have the conversion that we want. Mary, no idea on what they do. Absolutely, you're absolutely getting it here. Okay, what's your first impression here? What's your first impression here? So we're above the fold. We're just looking at the above the fold. Such a critical part of everyone's websites. What is working and not working here? I want to scroll. Yeah. Not inspirational. Thank you, Jackie. Lisa, text is too small. Mary, small text and too much. Yeah. Simple, but maybe a bit cold, says Jane. Yeah. Bit bland, says Harriet. Yeah, absolutely. I want the experience. Yeah, absolutely. Look how many options. And by the way, these are one of my clients. So we are working with them on this. And hence they've got good imagery because I did that for them. But the actual above the fold, look how many options there are for me to click before I even scroll. I've got view a wedding brochure, make an inquiry, cost and packages, food and wine, and there's another 2 or 4 below this first scroll. So where would a wedding couple go? Like, what are they going to click on instantly first? It's going to be cost and packages, isn't it? Because firstly, we've overwhelmed them with click choices. Where do I click? But they're not going to even consider looking at how amazing the food and wine might be until they've gone straight to the packages and straight to the cost. They're not going to make an inquiry without having gone to cost. Yes, Mary, the Z line takes you straight to price. I agree. I'm drawn to wanting to click on cost and price, cost and package, excuse me. Okay, so we're getting the idea. I think this is the last one. Let's just have a look at this one. So again, above the fold, thinking about that Z line, how do we feel about this one? How do we feel about this one? Any thoughts? Julia, too much small writing, dark and difficult to read. Michelle, the font. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Jackie, confusing to the eye. Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting how easy it is for us actually to be subjective when we look at other people's websites, isn't it? And it's hard for us to look at our own in the same way. Mary's not keen, Jackie confusing to the eye, Emma, it looks amateurish, okay, very basic, hard to read, bad font, too dark, not wedding-like. Oh, that's interesting. Now, here's the thing, black is often associated with luxury brands. And so I think sometimes we make the mistake of using black because it's associated with luxury, but often for weddings, it actually doesn't work, does it? So that's quite interesting. Would you be compelled as a viewer, as a user, as a visitor to this website to move forward, to look at more of this? You would leave, Jackie. Do you see what I'm saying? So where we are not focusing on how psychologically people are dealing with websites, it can have a really serious effect on how many people stay, how many people take action. You'd leave straight away, says Emma. Mary might give you a scroll. So Mary's being very, very kind. She's going to give a scroll. Sarah, it doesn't make me want to have more information. And here's the thing, this isn't about how good or bad this photographer is. This, I don't know who this is. They could be amazing, but we're judging them on the website, and we've, most of us agreed, we're not really going to give them much of a chance. 3 different styles of photography. Why? What am I getting? Yeah, okay. So that's above the fold. Let's look at the 4 things that you would ideally want to have above the fold so that you are ticking those psychological boxes. So the first thing would be the images, and you already spotted, you know, you straight away picked up on the images that really had a good solid impact on you and those that actually put you off. So when we're talking about the image above the fold, you really want that to be your hero shot. Does everybody know what I mean by hero shot? It's the one that makes your couples kind of gasp. You know, it's your best work, it's your aspirational imagery. So whether you're you know, whether you're a venue or a planner or a designer or a florist, whatever is one of your absolutely most solid best images in your business, this is what we want here above the fold. Because if you don't kind of smack them between the eyes early, they might not actually stay on the website. The image kind of, although they will scroll down, I use this phrase, stop the scroll, meaning kind of stop just moving around. And actually a solid hero shot will make people look for a few seconds and just pause and think, wow, that is beautiful. And that's the response we want, no matter your product or service. So we want that kind of hero shot that's going to just stop them for a few seconds. Your image should also give clarity on what you do or what you offer. So I see a lot of mistakes on websites where people are using images that aren't really what they do. So, you know, for example, they might have pictures of flowers or a picture of just a bride holding a bouquet, when actually they're a venue or a stationer or, you know, anything else. So what we really want to try to get to is a level of clarity on what it is you actually do. Lisa, could this be a video? Yes, there are definitely times that video can work here. Mary, I hear you, but for example, you will have some epic weddings that you've planned where you've got a gorgeous image of that wedding overall that, you know, people always say, wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Mary, I can't remember what your hero shot is, but for example, Sean, I've definitely seen yours, and yours is beautiful. That there's a shot of a couple in front of a venue, for example. Pat Sharp is my hero image. Okay, so what we want to do is get a shot that basically gets them just to pause for a couple of seconds and think, wow, this is nice. Yours is a couple in a field. Okay. For me, Mary, I would like to see maybe a bit more of what you have achieved at a wedding. So, for example, is there a shot of the overall wedding where I can see what you've created? Does that make sense? Back at the hero shot of the fold, okay, perfect, where we said we couldn't read the text, that hero shot was amazing. The flowers, the couple, the style, we got that level of luxury and style and creation, even actually a planner, but it was still a good hero shot that gave us that kind of level of hero shot to stop them. The clarity about what you do is simply not having an image which doesn't represent some of the products or services that you offer. Oops. This is from Michelle, who is in our membership. So this is her hero shot, which I thought was a really good example. We did work on this a little bit together a while back. And so this, you're welcome, Michelle. And so this is obviously Michelle does hair. We can see beautiful hair. The shot is really attractive. The colors are nice. And we've just got that nice big hero shot showing exactly what she does. And so really look at above the fold, having that big hero shot that is the showstopper for you. The next thing, remember, we're just above the fold. We're just above the fold. The next thing is the keywords and the clarity in the text we're using. So we've got that hero shot, but now we want to look at the words and the clarity. We really want to tell people what it is we do or what we offer. We really want to tell people what we do or what we offer. So when we were looking at some of those other examples of above the fold, lots of you said about most of them, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. And so going back to that caveman brain we just talked about, not making people think too hard, when they land on your website, we really need to clarify what it is you do. This helps them know that they're in the right place. Again, reducing bounce rates, reducing them thinking, oh, this wasn't for me. Be clear, not clever. Yes, taglines are amazing. And if you have a great tagline which is clear, then you can definitely use it here. If you don't have a tagline, or you have one which is a little bit not clear, then don't use it. Be clear, not clever. Simply state exactly what it is that you do. And this is also, we're not obviously getting into the tech side of it, but just to clarify, this is important for your SEO, because those first headings, those first lines on your website are important for your SEO. So being clear about what you do is quite vital in this area. So here's another couple of examples. Let's see what we think. So again, we're right above the fold. Now we're focused on the keywords and the clarity. Is this clear to you what this person does? Do you know what this person does? Okay, Jackie says no, Sean says yes, Jules says yes. But only through the menu. Okay, exactly. Store wedding planning. So the menu is not where we want that clarity, and it isn't going to help you with your SEO. So what we want is the clarity in right there in the middle or the top or wherever it is on that image that says exactly what it is you do. No, but I would scroll because it looks good. It does look good, I agree. It's clean, the image is nice. Agree, I would scroll. But remember, every kind of extra second, extra percentage of what people would do is going to make the difference to your conversion rates. And so what you do want here is that level of clarity right in people's faces about what they offer. Agree, Mary, I do like the overall feel, but when we're just thinking about the key words, it isn't clear enough. Okay, how do we feel about this one? Remember, we're on keywords and clarity. So is this clear from the text what they do? From the text, what they do. Okay. Agree, from the image, of course, we can see it's a band. It's a great image. And I'll be honest, I like the layout. I like the cleanliness of their layout. Do you? Now, having kind of thought about that ZI line, you know, it's really clean. My brain isn't confused. However, it doesn't actually say what it is they do. So yeah, I'm with you, Mary. I like it. However, we want the clarity with the words. So it should say, for example, the city folk, you know, your wedding band, or whatever it is that they niche themselves in, your country music wedding band. I don't know what they do. I'm making it up. And actually that would have the super clarity that we're looking for on the above the fold. Exactly, Mary. It's a total waste to say official website on a prime piece of real estate on above the fold. Absolute prime piece of real estate that we've wasted instead of using that to say what we do and who we do it for. Okay, is this clear to you from the keywords and the clarity point of view? Is this clear what these people do? Is this clear what these people do? Yeah, okay, I agree. I agree. It is clear. Now, do I like it as much as the styling and everything else as much as some of the other ones we've looked at? No. But it is very clear when somebody lands on here, they do know what these people do. And that's what we really want to get to. We want to get to a place where within seconds, people are uber clear, 100% clear what it is you offer. It does what it says. Exactly, Mary. Okay. So our keywords in clarity, what are the kind of phrases? I thought it was Specsavers. Agree, the styling and the imagery isn't my favorite, but I do like the clarity of the words there. And yes, I'm coming to that, Chris. Well spotted, I promise I'm coming to that. So Jules, yeah. What keywords and phrases would be right for you? Brainstorm now, have a chat in the comments. I'm going to give you a minute just to mull this one over. What are really the keywords and phrases that are right for your business that should be very clearly somewhere above the fold so that people know exactly what it is you do or who you do it for? They all have menu bars at the top but smaller. Is that allowed? They all have menu bars at the top but smaller. Let me just have a look at what you meant. Do you mean here, Jane? Yeah, it's fine to have a smaller menu bar. Absolutely. Yeah, no problem with that at all. I will talk about menus and footers in just a second as well, and I'll cover that in a little bit more detail for you. So just put some ideas, because I just want you to kind of move forward. You thought menus were a no-no. I'll talk about menus in a second. It's a good point. Sean, I have wedding and party planner at the top of my website under my logo. I've done right. No, I'm sure it's not the only thing you've done right. Good. Okay, so we're nice and clear for Sean. Daria, illustrated wedding stationery, unique wedding venue. Perfect. So Jules, just remind me your location, because you might want to add that in as well when venues are so important in terms of location. Debbie Payne, celebrant. Okay, so Debbie, for example, you might want to elaborate in the phrase with just a few more key words about wedding celebrant or life, what's the word I'm looking for? Life moments? No, that's not right. And if you have a particular area you work in, so just to really specify in those words what you do and who you do it for. Harriet, corporate event and wedding is my tagline. Jules, Hertfordshire. So Jules, do you see how you might just expand on yours to have unique wedding venue in Hertfordshire? Sam, destination wedding venue. Perfect. Again, you might want to add on location. Dree, 2,000 acre country estate venue. Yep, perfect. Chris, stretch sofa limousines. So do you, Chris, focus on a particular client? For example, is it only weddings, or do you offer your services to everyone? What we're trying to get to is a tagline, that, not tagline, keywords or phrase that lets people know they're in the right place. I currently only have urban flower farmer above the fold. Okay, Emma, so I definitely want to make it clearer, because although it sounds lovely, I'm not sure everybody knows what that means. So urban flower farmer might leave me with a question mark as to what that actually means, and if you then provide flowers for weddings or if you just grow them. Does that make sense? Mary, a wedding planner for couples keen on a down-to-earth approach who want to enjoy their wedding planning as much as their big day. Phew, so many words. Yeah, so for you, what I might want is as a heading that has less words, Mary, and then an underneath second line, which is clarifying who you do it for. Lisa, event staffing and live entertainment. Jane Bryce, celebrate new love, new life, new beginnings. Weddings, naming, okay. Jackie, sensuous florals, breathtaking design from memories to treasure. Sensuous florals, yeah, okay. Covers weddings, etc. Isn't written on the website. Explanation of why the 3. The covers weddings, etc. isn't written on the website. What do you mean, Jane? Shuggy's got I've got Kaylee's, a video front thumbnail is still dancing, check availability, book a chat. Okay. Looks better on a laptop than on mobile. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Jen. Chris, focus on weddings and other hire. Okay. So what we're trying to get to is a phrase, keywords that above the fold, tick that box. They know they're in the right place. You know what they do. To maintain interest in sentences should be under 21 words long. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. We're definitely looking for less than 21 words here, Chris. So you're absolutely right. We want to keep it short and snappy. So we've got that great hero shot image. We know that people are going in a Z. So somewhere above the fold, we've got to have that clear sentence, phrase, or keywords that really allow them to tick the box. Oh, no worries. Don't worry at all, Mary. We are recording. You can catch up later. Okay. The next bit we want to look at is something called a value stack. A value stack. This is ultimately where we, again, still above the fold, where we add 3 advantages or benefits or fabulous things about your clients choosing you and working with you. And what we're doing here is, first of all, we've wowed them with that great image. Then we have clearly said what we do. And now what we're going to do is just give them 3 lovely things about working with you. And let me explain what I mean. We're going to be expanding on what we do or what we offer. We're going to be, I'll show you some examples. We're going to be confirming again that they are in the right place. So all of this is adding, stacking them to stay, stacking them to scroll down, and making them feel comfortable that they are in the right place. we are stacking the positives and the advantages to working with you. And here is, again, one of our lovely group members who I worked with on this for them. And this is how they've done their value stack. So you can't see at the top the tagline, but what we've got here is a picture, and then we've got 3 clear advantages to choosing them. So we've gone straight in with it's a classic country house, picture perfect, and fun, fun, fun. So without having to read a huge amount of text, without having to make much effort at all, a couple have instantly seen, oh, and they have confirmed that this is something they want to read more about. Yeah, do you like that, Sam? It's really, really a good sales technique to have above the fold. Back to our commercial property, somebody did spot it. I can't remember who did spot it. What they've done here is actually use the value stack by confirming the type of clients they work with. So whether somebody was looking as a private investor, a commercial owner, or investment group, they know they're in the right place. So what 3 words do you think, or phrases, it could be a single word or 2 or 3 words, could you use that would give you that kind of value stack under the main image above the fold? So basically, as people go across your menu bar, down across the hero shop picture and across the sentence that says what you do, and then they go back across the value stack. Daria, yes, bespoke. No, that's great. It's definitely, no, that's lovely. Don't worry, my dear. Give me some ideas, chat away. Let's kind of brainstorm a few things about what your 3 value stacks could be. Dougie's got weddings, parties, and corporate. Yes, exactly. Again, no matter where your people are coming from, they would then think, oh, okay, great. He covers all 3 because they might not know, right? So absolutely, you can definitely cover that in terms of the clientele. And you can, so either clientele or the advantages in big red boxes. Yeah. Emma, wedding flowers, sustainable flowers, flower grower. Are there also, yes, Emma, you could definitely use those. And by the way, these things are always a work in progress, okay? So for example, you might create a value stack today, and then in a couple of weeks you think, oh, hold on a minute, that's a good idea, I'll switch it up. Do consider trying to think of the advantages of working with you, because that will have a slightly stronger impact than just the clients who you do work for, if that makes sense. Sean, honesty, transparency, and industry expert. I really like that, Sean, actually. I really like that. And see how when they land on your page instead of another planner, they would instantly think, wow, okay, honesty, transparency, and an expert. I'm in the right place here. And it ticks that box to help them to keep moving forward. Harriet, weddings and parties, corporate events, pharmaceutical meeting expert. Like it, and very niche as well in that particular market. Again, if you've got those clients landing and then sure, if you know that market, you're not asking them to read pages and pages about your history and what you've done before they're able to tick that box. Just let me know if you're comfortable with the value stack, because this has a really nice impact on your visitors for your website. So just let me know, give me a Y for yes, or if anybody's struggling, like feel free to share and we can give you ideas if anybody's really not sure. Emma's a bit confused. Okay, Emma, what are some of the advantages or benefits to couples or clients working with you? Just list a few, just scribble them down for ideas. Daria makes sense, but not sure what to put in there for stationery. Okay, and this might be that you have to kind of have a little think on it. But again, Daria, think about some of the advantages to people working with you. What do they get? Sean, would you say above it, this is what you can expect? No, because I don't want to add text here. I actually want this to be as minimal as possible. This is quite a lot what we've done here on this example. There's quite a lot of words. You could really reduce it to just 3 keywords or 3 key kind of 3-word phrases, if that makes sense. So we really want it to be a tick, tick, tick. Can the stack be a link to take them onto the right journey? I don't want them to link off yet, but good question. Not yet, because we want to keep them where we are. Large scale natural designs, locally grown British flowers, all eco-friendly. I mean, you've basically written it right there. Let me know, guys, what everybody else thinks. So Emma is a florist. So she's looking at her value stack and she's just said some of the advantages to working with her are large scale natural designs, locally grown British flowers, and eco-friendly designs. You've literally listed out 3 of your value stacks right there, 100%. And grow your own flowers. It's exactly. Does that all make sense, guys? You see, when you just start thinking, okay, why do people work with me? What do I deliver? What are some of the great things? Sam, we offer what this image says, going to use that as inspiration. Fabulous. And again, you don't need that much text. There's quite a lot of text, so you can use slightly less. But what we're looking for is that Z eye line. And what will happen is by the time they complete the first Z, which you're talking about 2 to 3 seconds, you've already hooked them in, and they're now ready to give you a little bit more attention and actually invest some time to scroll through. Can you see how that feels? And it's why I'm spending a lot of time on the above the fold, because this is really the moment where they go, oh, okay, yeah, let's give these guys a bit more of my time. Okay, I think we're good. Personal service, unique design, stationery expert. I love it, Daria. It's fabulous. It's good. And remember, you can always value stack now, and in a few weeks or a few days, keep mulling it over, tweak it, change it. But I would definitely start with that. That's absolutely fabulous. Okay. The fourth thing we need on the above the fold is the call to action. No worries, Lisa. You're welcome. All on record if you need to catch up. The call to action above the fold, exactly what they do next. Guys, you've got to give them just one step, just the one. If you say, you could call me, you could email me, we could have a meeting. And if you just take them to a contact page, which is what most people do, again, well, we've got all sorts of options. Do you ring them? Do they fill out a box? Again, the extra calories is not going to help your clients to take action. And then they're not really sure what they're supposed to say in the contact box. And so again, we're asking them to use extra calories with that thought process. So tell them exactly what they do next. And again, if you've done the foundational models, you will have your sales journey mapped out. You'll know what you want your people to do. We're going to repeat it. We're going to repeat this call to action, this one clear step throughout the sections, throughout the pages, not every section, but throughout the pages on your website, so that we're getting that repetitive scenario where as soon as they're ready to take action, they know exactly what they have to do. We're eliminating confusion. So, I've got to book a chat, Calendly link, and check availability. Is that too much? I know why you've got them, but I would love, Dougie, for you to have just the one. I'd love you to have just the one. I'd rather they book to chat with you, because ultimately, especially in the market that we're in, we just want to get as many people on those Zoom calls as we can to get that conversion. So I'd love it if actually your one call to action was just to go straight to your Calendly link. Jane, if this is above the fold, are you not encouraging them to move away? Good question. No, because if they're ready to move forward, then they'll click that action button, which for most of you will be something like opening a Calendly link, which takes them to your diary to book a call. If they're not ready, then they're going to continue scrolling, and that call to action will be exactly the same repeated. The button will be the same, the color, the instruction, and so they get that repetitive call to action. So let's have another, okay, fab. Let's have another few examples. What should this couple do next? What is the call to action here above the fold for this? I think it's the venue, isn't it? Yeah, for this venue. How are we doing on time? Oh my goodness. Okay. How are we doing? So what should the call to action, or what is the call to action? Okay, Jackie says it's to call. Yeah. There isn't one, Sam says. No, I don't feel there is a strong call to action. I hear you, Jackie, because they have put the number at the top. Jane, they think it's contact. I think they do, Jane. Yeah. So I think they believe their kind of call to action is contact. But look how we've come up with 3 different options. One of us said call. We've said there isn't one. Do we go to the contact? Sure. I know, Sean. This is, so no, we're not being mean, but I agree with you. Okay, Jules, there isn't one. Okay. So I believe they think that putting the telephone number at the top is enough, but we know that most couples don't want to actually pick up the phone anyway. So this is not a great call to action, because most people won't just pick up a phone. And what we're asking them then to do is go to contact. So you see how this wishy-washy approach of not having a direct call to action is not helpful. Are you starting to feel that? Because it's such a small shift, but it has such a big impact on what happens when they land on the website. What about here? What about here? Where's our call to action? So again, we're just looking at the above the fold, wanting that call to action. Emma, so can we have a contact me button? You could, but I would love to have something just a little bit stronger. Book a call, book a Zoom call, book a consultation. What we want is to move them to the next step. So the contact me button would be better than some of those other ones that didn't have a direct button. But ideally what you want is to move them straight to the next step. Click here to book a Zoom call, click here to book a phone call, or whatever is the next step. Click here to book a meeting, click here to buy. If your product is a buy online, it should be click here to buy. Sam, my eye does go to view more wedding images, but no call to action, no next step, there isn't one. Yeah, okay, so we're getting the idea. So guys, just confirm in the comments, what is your call to action? It doesn't matter if it's not on your website at the moment, just be super, super clear. What do you want people to do? And share it with me in the comments so that we've kind of ticked that one off our list. What do you want people to do next? Because making an inquiry isn't strong enough. It isn't you in control of the process. Okay, Dougie's booking a chat, bang. We've got his Calendly link, they're clicking it, they're going straight into his diary, they've booked a chat. Sarah, book a call. Sam, I've got see more wedding options. Okay, so Sam, that wouldn't be a call to action at this point. We do want wedding options. I'm going to look at some of those in a second. Julia, book a viewing. Jackie, check a date, book a chat. Okay. Debbie, book a meeting. Harriet, book a chat, schedule a call. Fab. So just make sure it's really clear. So Jane, great question. So Jane said, can you use friendly language like say hello? I love the question and I love where you're coming from. What does everyone think when we're talking about a call to action? So if the button says say hello, what do we think? Chris, chat is a good word. What do we think about say hello as a call to action? Just wondering if people have an opinion. It's a great question, Jane, by the way. Yeah, Harriet, it's not specific enough. Exactly. It's just not quite. It's a really interesting thing. When you look at the research of the kind of wording, Dougie says it sounds a bit like a thumbs up on Facebook. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is really clearly say, let's talk or let's book or let's buy and now. So just saying hello, they won't know what they're going to get with that. Whereas if they're booking a chat with you, then when they click on it and they get, for example, a Calendly link and it says, you know, let's have a Zoom call, see if we're a good fit or something like that. So do try to make it specific. There is a huge amount of research that buttons with very clear calls to action do work better than buttons that are a little bit softer. So if you're saying just make contact or say hello, what you'll find is you won't get the same pickup of those clicks as you will if you're very, very clear. Sean, can you ask them to get in touch to check we have their date and take it from there? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Do you want them to check a date before they get on a call with you? Is that the problem? Because what I just want to do is move them as fast as I can along the journey. Okay. What about in your, for example, in your Calendly link, what if one of your questions was what's your preferred date? So that as soon as they book the video call, you've got that question answered. So it said, you know, 26th of August, and you can then triple check it's available before you actually waste your time on the call. Does that make sense? Because what I want is for them to really take that step forward rather than them going back and forth with you on email whilst you check a date and then you're like, let's jump on a call. All of those steps mean you're losing people. You want to move them quickly as quickly as you can. I put see wedding options, which takes them to our 3 wedding packages to take them on the journey next step. Bit confused. Okay, agree. We're going to look at that in just a second. When they scroll down, they are going to start to see the journey. But as soon as they're ready to move forward in the journey, we want that clear call to action of what they actually do. We do want them to see your packages, but that clear call to action definitely needs to be there. Does that make sense? Let me just check. Okay, fab. So sorry, what I should have also said was the very best place for your button, let me just, no, too far. Okay, we'll just use this one. The very best place for your button is top right. So somebody actually said on one of the other ones that we didn't really love, the only thing they loved was the book a consultation was in the top right. And that is proven to be the best place to have your call to action button. So as people go left to right, they see the call to action button, they go across your key image and what you do, and then they go across your value stack. So that call to action button top right is one of the best places that you can put it. Top right of the image or the page, either is fine. Usually it's next to the menu bar, Sean. So good, Sam, sorry, it's a good question. So do put it at the top right, ideally. People do also put it in the middle underneath their main sentence. This can also work. So as long as it's on that Z line, you're going to have a good response to that button. Okay, so above the fold, we need to stop them scrolling just for a few seconds, have that hero shot, reassure them they're in the right place with the words you're using and the image you've got, that clear call to action. So when they are ready, they know what happens next. And now, because they've given you those few seconds and you've already hooked them in, now they'll be ready to move down. So the next section that I would love to have you consider, and it's hard for people to consider having this on their page. So these are the top fold part, really try and stay with the framework. That definitely works best. The sections I'm going to share with you now, you can almost mix and match as suits your business. The next section, if you can address some common problems and issues that your clients often have and that you overcome, this really works in terms of the psychology. So they've been hooked in, they can see they're in the right place, they've had the value stack, they feel comfortable. And now what happens is they start to look at or read about some issues that they resonate with. Some issues that they resonate with, or some things they're trying to overcome. So what springs to mind instantly, because Dougie was talking about it yesterday in the Facebook group, was because he has a Kaylee, is it Kaylee band or Kaylee dancers? How do we say it? Kaylee band. And that people don't want to get on the dance floor. This is a problem that couples have because they want people on the dance floor. So this, for example, would be the next section. I would say, are you looking to make sure that every one of your guests gets up on the dance floor? Do you want to avoid those people sitting down and not partying at your wedding? So what we're doing is just kind of poking a little bit the problems that your couples want to overcome. Is this making sense? This is a little bit of a tricky one because we always think everything has to be uber positive, and we're not being down about it. We're just saying this is something that might happen at your wedding, and this is actually what makes it better. This is how I can help. What are some of the problems that your couples are having? Just share with me in the comments, in the chat box. What are some of the problems people have that they are looking to overcome when they get to you? Why are they even looking for your website? Why are they even looking for your business? Dree, could be weather related. Yep, absolutely. Sean, lack of time. 100% Sean, that would be in this section for you, 100%. You know, are you wanting a well-planned wedding but simply don't have the time? Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Debbie, newlyweds don't understand the legal processes. Yes, absolutely. Emma, make a venue beautiful and memorable. Yeah, although I would probably want to, again, just agitate a little more their situation that matches in with you. So the fact that you are, you know, with the sustainability and the eco-friendly, you know, are you looking to have a beautiful wedding while still, okay, saving the planet's maybe a bit excessive, but something along those lines, while still, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, saving the planet's way too much, but you know where I'm trying to go with that one. Harriet, time, where to start, 100% where to start, people really struggle. Dougie, something social gets everyone engaged, not feeling awkward. Yes, exactly. Jackie, time poor, not knowing flowers. So do you see where we're going here? What we've done is we've hooked them in nicely, and now the next section we're saying, I get you. I feel your pain. I feel why you've come to my website. These are the things you might be struggling with. These are the things you're trying to overcome. And by the way, this is exactly what I do. Just give me a Y for yes if this makes sense. So we're not putting a section of negativity and down on everything. This is about you. Great, fab, lots of yeses. Empathizing with your couple, and again, reinforcing the fact they're in the right place, you know what you're talking about, you understand what's going on. This is literally like you being inside their head, and they'll think, wow, she really knows what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay. Dougie, yes, this is what we did in the previous modules using your ICA stuff. Absolutely, it all ties in. Absolutely well spotted. Another section you will want on your website is a key need to know. Again, not on website homepage, key need to know section. So we've moved to another section. So we're still on the homepage, we're scrolling through, and you can mix and match the order of these sections, by the way, if you feel that your business needs it in a different way. The key need to know sections are those absolutely critical details that couples must feel they've done their due diligence on. What do they really need to know about you before they can really start reading information or delving into your packages? This is almost a tick box exercise, and it works very well if you do it as bullet points. It works really well if you do it as bullet points, so that as they're scanning, they're just, okay, yeah, this person knows about that, they know about that, they can cope with my numbers, or they're in the right location, or they cover the right counties or states. So we really want a tick box exercise here. And for example, this might be the kind of clients that you work with. Don't worry if you repeat some of your value stack here. Totally fine. Repetitive messaging is a good thing in sales and marketing. Okay, so the next section is going to be a tick box exercise, key bullet points of the key need to know information. Okay, it doesn't have to be bullet points, it just is easier to digest, but it doesn't have to be. No. Yes, Dougie, it's a little bit like FAQs without the boring, time consuming thing of having to read through all the questions and big chunks of text. So yes, you're right, absolutely. It could be your FAQs might transfer into bullet points of key information. Okay, next section. Would it be better as an image rather than text? It could be. It could be if it was maybe just a handful of things. Yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't do it as images, Harriet. Absolutely, I don't see that being a problem at all. As long as it's really easy to digest and scan. And this is their due diligence. Tick, tick, tick. This person covers what I'm looking for, is in the right location, knows about my particular wedding or style or culture or whatever covers your business. Okay. 3-step process. Who has worked on in a previous module their 3-step process for the sales journey? We talked about this previously, and this is where we are going to really apply it, fab, to the website. And let me just remind you why we need the 3-step process and what it looks like and what it is. When, as consumers, buyers, couples, this is across industries, by the way, the easier you show how people work with you, the easier it is for them to move forward. Your couples don't know how they get from where they are now to where they want to be. It looks like a massive mountain in front of them, and they don't know how to climb up the mountain. I've used this image of a river with the stepping stones, because I think this is a really nice analogy of what we're trying to do. If there were no stepping stones and I just said, right, we've got to get to the other side of the river, we'd all start having a little chin wag about how we're going to do it. Are we going to build a bridge? Are we going to build a boat? And there'd be all sorts of ideas. And then somebody else would say, let's just put wellies on and wade through. And there'd be all these different ways to do it. But actually, by putting stepping stones, we can see a clear path across the river. And that's what I want you to do with your 3-step sales journey, your 3-step process that couples will take with you. Now, in an ideal world, it's 3 steps. It can be 4, it can be 5. I don't really like to go over 5. And 3 is your ideal number. And start looking for this. It's everywhere. It's on how to make porridge. It's on, how to work with businesses. You will start to see this 3-step process because the psychology is so strong with it. If you show people, first you do this, then you do that, and then we get to here, it really helps couples to see how easy it is to work with you. So that might be step 1, book a Zoom call. Step 2, plan a fabulous wedding. Step 3, enjoy the best day of your life. Might be that. You might have a 3-step process that just takes you up to the beginning of working with you. It's entirely up to you which journey you create, as long as it's really easy for your couples. And then what we're going to do is deliver that 3-step journey onto the website. And this, Harry, you mentioned about images. The 3-step process can work really nicely with that kind of image, step 1, step 2, step 3, so that people can see how they get from where they are right now to where they want to be. I'm just going to take a pause. Does that make sense for a minute? We've done the bulk, I promise. I know as usual, we're going over time. We have done the bulk. We've just got a little bit more to cover for you. How's everyone feeling? Give me a word for how you're feeling at the moment. Let me just do a temperature check. Yes, Dre, I do. Did I upload it? Can you remind me at the end, Dre? And I will show you live on some websites where you can see this. Can you just remind me at the end so I can show you? Yeah, no worries. It needs to be done by 3. I'll be done by 3, Dougie. Jackie, lots to think of. Okay, good point. You don't have to change everything all at once. Don't change everything all at once. If it's overwhelming, the information I'm giving you, think about the most important things you'd want to change. For me, it would be the above the fold, getting that part right first so that you know people are going to stay on with you. And then moving through it step by step and getting each of the bits and pieces done. Okay, let me know, guys. You feeling okay? Sean, this would be a complete rebuild if I had to do it all. I hear you. I hear you. Take the parts that you feel will make the biggest impact, and then you can just tweak and change bit by bit. Need to look at website and talk to marketing. Yeah. Okay. So let's do kind of an everything else wrap up for the last few pieces. And then I will show you some other examples of the 3-step process as well. So the last few things we're going to look at are headers and footers, meet the expert, options and prices, testimonials. So I'm going to be quite quick on these ones, so don't worry. Sam, I would like to see a good example of an above the fold. You might have shown that already, but I joined late. No worries, Sam. Yeah, we can absolutely go back and look at that. Okay. So let's talk about headers and footers, because that question has come up already. Your menu bar at the top, your header, if you will, needs to have a few clear choices. You do not have to have a menu bar at the top, but it is still quite normal to have those menu choices. But what you want is very few, because really what you want is people staying on your homepage and scrolling through. So think of the menu bar as the smaller the better. If you give them 10 options, they just won't know where to go and they're probably just going to go straight to price. And what you can do is actually, instead of having them on the menu bar, create sections on the homepage so you're delivering the journey in the order you want. Only the critical options go up in the menu bar. And remember, what we're looking for here is a longer scroll page rather than lots of separate pages, so that you're controlling the journey and the way the information is delivered. I like to think of the footer as the junk drawer. So I don't know about you guys, my husband has a drawer in our kitchen which is just full of like random batteries and all sorts of leads that we're not really sure what they go into or what device they were actually meant to be with in the first place. It's got just random things, and whenever we don't know where something is, or we're looking for like that random item in the house, it's normally in that drawer in the kitchen. Does everybody else have one of those drawers as well? And this is what I want you to think of when we are, okay, good, not just us, when we are thinking about your footer. If you're not sure where the link goes, it goes in the footer. So if you know it's not a critical thing to have on the menu, but you know it wants to be somewhere, then put it in your footer. Now, we can make our footers neat and tidy. They don't have to be looking like a junk drawer, but they can have lots of links in the footer without it ruining the whole journey for you. For me, in the footer, you need things like the blog, the contact, the social media, and any links to extras. Why have I see a lot of people putting their blog on their main menu bar. Why have I taken your blog off the main menu bar and put it down in the footer in the junk drawer? Any thoughts on that? Why are we taking the blog off the main menu bar and down into the footer, for those of you that blog? Okay, question marks. Yeah, okay, most people have it in the main menu bar. Yeah, so really, and we'll be talking about blogs separately in a couple of weeks, but really your blog is driving traffic to your website, right? Your blog is driving traffic to your website. Once they're on your website, like, fine, yes, reading your blog shows your expertise, etc., but it's not a main part of the sales journey. So actually what I want is the blog driving traffic to your website, but then I want them going on my journey. Additional info not necessary if you've already engaged them. It's not critical part of the sale. Exactly, Debbie. So for example, you put your blog in the footer, it's still there, it's still linked. If people want to see it, they can find it, but it's not on the main journey. Now, keep your footers neat, but it might have quite a few links in, and that's totally fine. They all go down there at the bottom. Okay, let's talk about meeting the expert. Ultimately, the more human connection we can get with our couples through your website, the better. Oh, terrible typo, I do apologize. People buy from people. People buy from people. So if we can see you as the face of your business, if we can see your team, if you have a wider product or a bigger company, we still want to meet the people behind the brand. It's not logos and brands that sell, it's the people, especially for our wedding couples. So think about that human connection. It really helps people feel safe. When we land on a website, especially of a business, which is, for example, a one-person scenario, we really want to be able to see that person. Are they someone I can trust, who I can give money to? And we're really going to help them to feel safe by actually meeting the team. We want them to meet you, who is the expert. We've talked about this before, about the psychology of our couples, where they really want to know that you're going to hold their hand and lead them through. And what I really like, great question, Sean, isn't that the about page for? Yes, it is. Here's the thing. You can still have the about page, okay? What I would love is a shorter section on the home page, so that as they're scrolling through, they get a short snippet of the expert, who is you or your team. Okay, perfect, exactly. And then if they want to understand more about your story and who you are, they can definitely go. Chris, we have Meet Nolan and Chris with photo and text on the homepage. Okay, fab, so they're meeting the expert. That is absolutely fabulous. You can do it in different ways. You can then move them off to an about page where you've got the kind of more in-depth Q&A, who you are, what you do. Dougie, can the Meet the Expert be a photo in a photo with text? A photo in a photo with text. I'm not 100% sure I understand the question. Do let me know in a different way, Dougie. I'm not sure I 100% understand. I've used Michelle again, beautifully done after we chatted. So, a picture of you, we need to see who you are, that we can trust you. And also everything you talk about you, how that is a benefit to your clients. So don't make this a big story about only you, make it about why that's a benefit to them. Okay, let's talk about the options and the prices. Just what you've shown with Michelle, but yes, exactly, Dougie, perfect. No worries. So the options and prices. We need a section that shows what the options are for working with you. We need a section that shows what the options are. Again, everybody's got very different businesses, but for the majority of us now, we will have 3 choices, 3 ways of working together. And so we want to start laying that out for people along with the pricing points. So show the 3 choices, and if possible, we want them next to one another so that we get the contrast. So let me explain, let me backtrack a couple of steps. The section of options could be, if it's easy enough, right there within a section, or it could be a click onto another page where you have more space to then lay out their 3 options. The ideal is that the 3 are next to one another, so we really feel the contrast of the 3 choices with the 3 price points. Jane, yes, you can absolutely have the section of the options on the home page and then have them click out to the bigger page, which then develops the options and prices. Does that make sense? So a summary and click to bigger. Yeah, exactly. Now, for some of you, those options will be easily fitted into a section and you can have it right there. That's perfectly fine as well. So decide how much space you need. But for most of us, we're going to need to click out to another page. For venues, especially, please make sure you walk people through the event spaces. I see this is a big mistake where we don't actually walk people through the space. We just show them a few random choices and images and then expect them to be ready to move forward. So really do lay it out. Chris, can it be a list with a tick for basic, better. Oh, yes, absolutely. Perfect. Yes, Chris, 100%. Harriet, since I have a corporate wedding split, would I list 2 options? Yes, good question, Harriet. And yes, yes, yes. So what you would want is to have 2 buttons next to one another, weddings and corporate. And when they click, they then get taken onto another page, respectively, and use the same kind of psychology, the same kind of format that we've been talking through. But yes, you will want to have 2 buttons, corporate and wedding, so they split. Yeah. So these options are what services you offer. Yes, exactly. The options for working with you, your services, and your pricing. Okay, just a couple more points and then we're wrapping up, I promise. So, who has a testimonial page on their website? And it's probably got testimonials on the menu bar where people can click and then they can go and read what people have said about you. But who has an actual page and is it on the menu bar? Okay, most people saying yes. Harriet, interesting, I'm coming back to that. Dougie, I linked to GMB and Pinterest boards. Okay, on the menu bar, in various places around the website on menu bar. Okay, so let's go through a few points with testimonials. If you have a testimonials page, I will wager that if we looked at your Google Analytics, it will be the least read page on your website, okay? What we see is that typically your buyer, your potential couple, will not click on the testimonial page or section. Why is that? Why are they not going to that lovely page where everybody talks about how epic you are? They are, Jane, they are important. Hang on, I'm coming. Why are people not clicking on the page though? So there it is on the menu bar. It says, you know, lovely stories, or it says client feedback, or it says testimonial, whatever we've called it. Why is that page one of the least pages that people click on your website? Sarah, they can't be bothered. Yeah, they can't be bothered. Most of the time we've had a read through your testimonials and we feel you're the right person. Okay. Sam, no idea. Harriet, they've already made their mind up. Dougie, text. Jules, no idea. Jackie, we put them on, takes time to build trust. Okay, on my homepage. Okay. What we find is that people will not go to your testimonials page because it's on your website. They know it's going to only say positive things. It's not the same as when they go to Amazon and they read unbiased reviews of a product, which we do, right? We've talked about this before. We all do that. We go onto Amazon and we read the reviews and we make a buying decision based on them. The reason this is different, they're not going to go to the page because they're going to just think, oh, well, I know it's going to say good stuff, so I won't read it. And so they don't actually go to that separate page. Now, as some of you have already been saying, but we thought this was really important, it 100% is super important because persuasion is really high when people read testimonials. And Sean's just said, when people do read the testimonials, they say, that's helped us know you're the right person. So now we have this problem of people not going to a part of the website which has a huge amount of persuasion in the sales journey. Just give me a Y for that. Yes, if this makes sense so far. And also, Dougie said, there's a lot of text. Absolutely. Again, we know people can't be bothered to read. We know they don't want to scan pages and pages of text. Perfect. So what we want is short sentences or short reviews on every page. Okay. So rather than having a separate section where all your reviews are housed, we basically want to pepper your sections, your pages with the reviews so that your couples visiting your website are accidentally consuming the reviews without having to make the effort to do so. Now, what you're going to need to do is shorten a lot of your reviews, because for a lot of us, that we put paragraphs and paragraphs and people aren't going to read that and it's not going to look neat and tidy on your website. So what you're looking for is 1 or 2 sentences that can sit nicely throughout the pages that actually people will just accidentally absorb. We will scan a sentence and absorb it without even meaning to. Does this make sense? So you could break up the long scroll with quotes. Are images of couples still relevant? Yes, 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 Jane, absolutely. Yes, break up the scroll with quotes. And also, yes, it is proven that quotes next to an image do have a stronger persuasion. So definitely, if you are able to have that, a picture of your couple next to the quote does have more persuasion. If you don't have that though, guys, still using your quote with their name is obviously really important. We tend to feel that if a quote doesn't have a name next to it, it probably isn't true. So do be really wary of that as well. Okay, did that all make sense with the testimonials? So we're removing the whole big page. Or guys, also what you could do is put the whole big page in your footer, right? So you could put the link, if you'd like to read more reviews, put the link there for those handful of people who really do want to read 3 pages and pages, put that in your footer and then have your single sentences through. Okay, just finishing up with a couple of little bonus tips. Links internally are good. So you can move people around pages so that you're continuing on with the journey rather than having them choose where they click next. So as you're scrolling through your sections, if you then want to say, you know, if you want more information on this, you can click out here. So feel free to control the journey in that way, where you're actually leading them through different parts of your internal website. Also, in terms of SEO, you want to consider those external links as well. So do have external links. You might have, again, a link in your footer to all your favorite suppliers or all your favorite wedding industry colleagues, and then have the links to their websites on those pages. Who is capturing email addresses from people who land on their website? Who is capturing email addresses from people who land on their website? And how are you doing it? If you are, okay, a few no's. Anybody capturing? Okay, mostly no's. That's interesting. Okay, Facebook ads, yes. Okay, Jackie, hear you. Sean wouldn't have a clue how to do it. Interesting. So I'm really interested to see that most of you are saying no. Dougie said yes, newsletter, but don't get many. Let me tell you why that is. I have a click button that says for more info, tips and offer, subscribe here. Yes, Julia is capturing emails. Well done, Julia. Okay, for most of us, oh, and Sam too. Okay, for most of us, we're not. There is a module, I think, in 2 weeks coming up on this. So don't worry if, for example, Sean, you said wouldn't know how to even start with this, or you're not sure why yours aren't working. But realistically, every business should have a lead magnet on their website that is capturing email addresses that you can then begin to market to. Because if people have landed on your website, we need to capture some of that traffic, and especially the traffic that wasn't ready to make an inquiry or move to a Zoom call. And that is what we're going to do with lead magnets. And so what I'm going to take you through in one of the next modules is exactly how to create the right lead magnet so that you are capturing your people, and how to actually set it up and what you're going to say to them once you've got those email addresses. Because there's a lot of traffic landing on your website that are not taking action, are not warm enough, but with a lead magnet, they will give you their email address and then you can gently market to them and warm them up and actually move them through the sales journey. So that is a whole nother module on lead magnets, which is where you are capturing email addresses on the website. And then again, blog posts to drive the right traffic to your website. In the first place, you want to drive traffic to it. So when they get on the sales journey, they are in fact, you know, your right people and they are finding you. And blogging is one of the best ways to drive people to your website. Whenever I release a blog post, my traffic goes way up, way up, way up, way up. And it carries on because it helps with your SEO so massively to have that kind of content on your site. Again, we'll be doing a module on that coming very, very soon. So we'll be looking at these things that start tying in with your website, first capturing those email addresses and also driving more traffic. Where do you post blogs? So Jane, I create posts. So I create new pages on my website and the link to the blog is in the footer. And then I post out on social media or send out to my email list. And my email list is built using my lead magnets. So it all starts to tie in to your traffic and your people coming back to you, and so that you are communicating with them and staying forefront of mind. Okay. So we looked a lot at above the fold. That was a big part of what we did. Your homepage is really a sales page. It really needs to take them on a scroll journey where they're going through these sections, understanding how you help them, who you are, what you do, how you're the expert. And then we looked at everything else as well. Footers, menus, how we're going to drive traffic, and those things are coming up very soon. Okay. How is everyone feeling, and do we have any questions? I did hit the 90-minute mark, so well done for staying with me. That was a lot of information. Tell me, what's your biggest takeaway? What's the one thing you're going to actually make, take action on, and actually make an impact and take action on? And let me know any light bulb moments, any questions as well, of course, absolutely. I'm just going to give you a second to let me know. What were your takeaways? And okay, Drew, so I don't want just one single web page, so I'm really sorry if I said that wrong. So you definitely want separate pages, and that is for Google. So Google does like you to have more than one page, but what we want is the home page to be the kind of foundation, and then link off to other pages, if that makes sense. But yes, scroll to control 100%. Drew, for you though, I'm just thinking, because you are a venue, you will already have other pages, right? Like corporate or bedrooms or whatever the other things you do. So potentially you would only have one wedding page. So I take back what I just said. Dougie, call to action at the top, change web layout for wedding page. Fab, Sean, lot to take in, may have to reread it all again. Yeah, listen, I've given you a lot of information today. But I hope that has made sense. Do let me know. I hope it's been helpful. I hope that is all useful. Sam, I thought I'd made good progress on the website, but now realise there's still so much more to do. Mind blown. Okay, is that mind blown in a good way though? Is it mind blown in a good way? Amanda loves the value stack. The value stack is a game changer. It really helps your couples. I'm glad you like that one. Christopher, can the pages be hidden? They can, but why would you hide it? So for example, if Google can't see it and it doesn't connect with the pages, then it doesn't have too much benefit. Jane, above the fold is like your 48 sheet poster. Jules, lots to take in and agree with it all. Off to check our website. Okay, fab. So we're good. We feel a little bit overwhelmed with information, but by the sounds of it, mostly positive. Any final comments or questions before we close up our session? Sarah, above the fold changes are my first stop. Agree. And guys, I think, Sarah, you've absolutely made a very good point there. If you are feeling overwhelmed with things to change on the website, start with above the fold. Just do one little bit at a time, keep tweaking and changing. Chris, I wish I was better at WordPress. Yeah, okay, that is the other thing. You either need to take this information to your website people, or you need to feel confident to make the changes yourself. But WordPress is usually not too bad to change. Thanks so much for your ideas and advice. You are welcome. Sam, is there time to show a good above the field? Yes, I will. If anybody needs to go who already saw them, please feel free to, and I will just reiterate some good above the folds. Julia, need to change my website. Main takeaways, clarity. Debbie's going to bed. It must be quite late where you are, Debbie. She is ready for bed. Okay, I'm just going to very quickly go back and show anybody who is still wanting to see. Right, let me just do this slightly differently. So if you need to go, don't worry, I'm just going to reiterate some good above the fold options if anybody wants to see those. So let's take a look here. Okay, so here's one for pet food. Okay, tell me in the chat, why is this a good above the fold? Why do I like this as an above the fold option? Why do you like it? Why do you like it as an above the fold option? Is it ticking the boxes that we've just talked about? Most of them, not 100% because I didn't design it, but is it giving us most of what we needed in terms of a good above the fold? Yeah, message is clear, super simple, so simple to navigate. Yeah, solves the problem, exactly. So what we've got here is a clean image. We've said what it does on the tin, and we've given a little subheading as well, and we've given two clear choices. Are you a dog owner or a cat owner? And we've gone straight for that. And so we've made it really, really clear to the viewer what it is we do above the fold. And so now we're ready to keep moving forward. If I take you to, I'll show you mine. Some of you may have been on it, and but I'll just show you how I do this as well. And then we will close up. So, share screen. So this is my website. So you can see we've got a clear call to action in the top right corner, book a call, exactly what it is I do in the middle, and then my value stack at the bottom. So save time, increase revenue, clear plan. So we've got the clear heading, the call to action, and the value stack as well. And then the lovely Beach Hill, who is one of our members as well, they've just been updating theirs. Let me show you theirs. I know they're still tweaking in case they watch on replay, but theirs is almost there as well. Let me go here. And I'll just share this last one with you. So the only thing, I know they're still tweaking, so the only thing they haven't got at the moment is their clear title of what they do, but they do have the clear call to action in the top right, book a tour, which takes you straight to Calendly. They've got the lovely value stack there, which we looked at earlier. They've then got the problem that people have, you know, that most venues are the same, etc., etc. And so you can see as well how they've used the sections with colour to distinguish through that information. So it's really easy to scroll through and look at the steps here for 1, 2, and 3 in terms of how we're going to work together. Book a tour, fun planning, amazing wedding, fantastic wedding. Does that make sense? So it's a really enjoyable kind of scroll through the information. I'm getting exactly what we need to know. Let me just come back to you. One hero image on the homepage or slider. This is personal choice, but Carolyn, my preference is one hero image at that point, because actually I want to then take them on the journey. And so I do see them, they work with the sliders. Personally, I quite like just that one. Reminder to show the 3-step process. Yes, sorry, absolutely. Let me go back over here. So we did just see one there with Beach Hill where they do theirs. Did you catch that one when I was scrolling through? And then let me show you. And this is how I do mine. So I'll just show you on this one. So for me, let's talk, do the strategy, increase the revenue. And then again, the same call to action in the same kind of button. Did you all see the one on Beach Hill as well? They did a really, really nice one. I'll just grab those back up again if I can. So you can see, and then we will close up. There they are. 1 second, I'll share the screen with you. And share screen. Perfect. So then we've got that really nice 1, 2, 3 simple steps to your wedding, and that nice clear call to action. Step 1, book a tour. Step 2, fun planning. Step 3, have a fantastic wedding. So it just makes it really easy for viewers to understand what they have to do next and how it all comes together. Okay. Everybody feeling okay? There was a lot of information. Jules, thank you so much. It's been great. Good. Okay. Jackie says thanks. Just take one step at a time, take one change at a time. But guys, know that your website has the power to convert couples at this stage or not. So they will be judging you as they land and deciding whether they're going to move forward, and even whether they're going to keep scrolling. It's that important that we get those first few steps right. Drew, brilliant, thanks, love this session. Okay, good. I will download the replays. If you do need to catch up on any of it, it will be in the members area from tomorrow. So much to do, says Jane. Sean, great session. Oh, thank you guys. Brilliant. Well, I'll see you all in the Facebook group. Carry on the conversation over there, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.